Isn't it really surprising to know that 1 in every 4 women suffer from fibroids? The rough percentage is approximately affecting 30 to 70% of the women, and majority of fibroids happen during reproductive age groups. Hello friends, I am Dr. Prachi Binara, consultant gynecology and fertility in Gurgaon. So friends, fibroids are also known as myoma or leiomyoma. These are thankfully benign in nature, and the cancer changes in fibroids are very rare. So today, with the help of this video, let's understand more about fibroids. So number 1, size. Fibroids vary in sizes from a size as small as a peanut to as large as 14-15 centimeters, filling almost majority of the space in your pelvis. They can be a single fibroid or sometimes multiple fibroids, so that the uterus is studded like a necklace with fibroids. Now let's in detail discuss the type of fibroids. So most common type of fibroid is intramural, which means that it is inside the muscular mass of the uterus. Now, intramural fibroids can be diagnosed with the help of ultrasound and usually presents with heavy periods and sometimes no symptom at all. Some fibroids, known as subserosal fibroids, arise from the serosa or the outer covering of the uterus. You can correlate these fibroids with like ear of a Mickey Mouse. They are sitting on the uterus on the external surface and they grow inside your pelvic cavity. The third common type of fibroid is a submucous fibroid. So friends, these fibroids generally present with symptoms. Submucous fibroids mean that from the inner layer of the uterus, these fibroids fall into the uterine cavity. Now, these fibroids can present with irregular periods, heavy periods, bleeding in between periods, and also infertility or subfertility. What are the causes of fibroids? Fibroids are generally estrogen-dependent tumors, which means that high estrogen content in the woman can lead to fibroid formation. Some also have genetic predisposition. Some races like Africans and Black Americans are also predisposed to develop fibroids in their lifetime. Fibroids are generally more common in women who attain early menarche and late menopause, which means that they have a longer duration of reproductive lifespan. Fibroids are also a little more common in women who are infertile or who do not want pregnancies. Fibroids are also more common in women with high BMI and dietary predispositions like who eat high amount of red meat. So now let's talk about symptoms of fibroid. The good news is not all fibroids lead to symptoms. Rather, majority of fibroids are asymptomatic. That is, they do not lead to any symptoms and they are just lying silently inside the womb. The symptoms commonly associated with fibroids can be irregular periods, heavy periods, bleeding in between periods, longer duration of periods. Sometimes large fibroids can also lead to pelvic pain and back pain. Sometimes these large fibroids can lead to pressure symptoms like difficulty in urination, pain during urination, and also sometimes lead to constipation. Sometimes large intramural fibroids and submucous fibroids can be associated with infertility and recurrent miscarriages. They can sometimes also cause difficulty in labor at the time you're delivering the baby if the fibroids are located near the cervix. Now let's understand how these fibroids are diagnosed. Fibroids are generally diagnosed accidentally when a woman comes to the clinic to get a pelvic ultrasound done. Usually a transvaginal ultrasound is enough for a fibroid diagnosis, but sometimes before operating on these fibroids, the gynecologist might even request for an MRI scan. Not all fibroids require treatment. Unless and until these fibroids are symptomatic, they will not be touched. Some fibroids are initially managed with medical treatment like small pills or an intrauterine contraceptive device called Mirena, but sometimes they would also require treatment with small surgeries called myomectomy, which is removing selectively the fibroid. Very rarely, a hysterectomy, which is removal of the uterus, can be advised. Now, a very important question. If I am suffering with infertility or recurrent miscarriages, should I get these fibroids operated? So dear friends, a submucous fibroid should always be removed because this is classically known to lead to infertility or recurrent miscarriages or recurrent implantation failures. A large intramural fibroid which is showing its pressure effect on the endometrial lining might also be requested to be removed because these can also interfere with pregnancies. Generally, subserosal fibroids or small intramural fibroids are not removed and will not lead to infertility. If a fibroid is more than 5 centimeters and you have recurrent IVF failures, then your fertility specialist might request for its removal because sometimes these fibroids disturb the environment inside the uterus, making it non-conducive for a pregnancy. So dear friends, the good news is, though the fibroids are very common, not all demands removal. Thank you.